leadership, excellency, and active youth engagement across Africa. Here we celebrate the ideas, talents, and initiatives that are shaping the future of our continent. I mean Africa, of course. And tonight we are honored to welcome our guest, Mr. John Bosco Kalisa, coordinator for Accelerate Africa, covering the entire EAC. With him, we'll be discussing a powerful and timely topic: monetary sovereignty in Africa, myth or strategic necessity. This conversation promises insight, inspiration, and a practical lesson for young leaders, students, and change makers across Africa. And if you would like to sponsor or partner with African Youth Time Show, kindly contact us. We are already open for you guys. Without wasting our time, allow me to welcome my co-host, Miss Sangwa Pia. Good evening, Sangwa. How are you?
Good evening, Jibro. I'm fine.
Are you okay?
I'm great, thank you.
How was your day?
I had a bit of rain here and there, but we are thankful. It's always a blessing to have rain.
Good.
You know.
That is enough.
Yeah.
All right, but today was very cold.
Yeah, it was extremely cold.
So can you please introduce our guest?
Thank you very much for giving me the time.
Yeah.
Good evening once again, dear viewers. Thank you again for joining us today. And as we always know, every Thursday we have a very special person with us. So allow me once again to welcome our guest for tonight. So our guest for tonight, we are honored to welcome Mr. Jean Bosco Kalisa. Mr. Jean Bosco Kalisa is a current regional coordinator for Accelerate Africa, covering the entire of East African community. Mr. Kalisa is a seasoned trade economist, specialized in econometrics, trade policy, investment promotion, private sector development, and taxation. He holds a master's degree in commerce, quote-unquote, economics, from the University of Pretoria, and bachelor's degree in economics from the National University of Rwanda. With deep expertise in regional economic communities and the African Continental Free Trade Area, he has actively participated in the major international and continental trade negotiations. He has been recognized for championing the implementation of AfCFTA by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo and the Secretary General of the East African Community. Previously, he served as CEO of the East African Business Council and Country Director for South Sudan at Trademark East of Africa. He has also worked with Rwanda Private Sector Federation and Rwanda Ministry of Finance and Economics, quote-unquote, Minecofin. Through his leadership and continental partnership with the institution such as African Development Bank and the World Bank, Mr. Kalisa continues to advance Africa's regional integration agenda while supporting youth and women to benefit from the AfCFTA opportunities. Please join us once again for an inspiring and educative session with Mr. John Bosco Kalisa. I hope everyone will be inspired today with us. Mr. John Bosco, welcome.
Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. And allow me to thank Isango TV for this constructive engagement and discussion about the role of youth in integration agenda. So I'm very excited, and I'm very glad to be here to share my views, insights, how youth can shape the Africa we want.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, and welcome.
Thank you.
So we're gonna start our discussion by your you're gonna tell us about your childhood. All right? And my question is this one. Growing up in Rwanda, what family environments or early experiences shape your interest in economics and monetary issues?
Yeah, thank you very much for that interesting question about my interest, passion with regard to economics and business at large. You know, I was born in Uganda as a refugee in Western Uganda. I studied from there. Then after the war and the genocide against Tutsis, I came here in 1995, and I joined the National University of Rwanda, and I majored in economics because it has been passion from the childhood. I loved business. I realized that you can have a positive impact or dent on poverty by doing trading and nurturing entrepreneurship at an early stage.
Yes.
And I think that is the preoccupation, and my background, whatever I've been doing, has been oriented around trade and private sector development. So as you ably highlighted on my CV, working with the government, working with the private sector federation, recently as the CEO of East African Business Council, and even currently as the regional coordinator for Accelerate Africa, my role and my really preoccupation is about trade. And I believe that, again, through trade, you're able to alleviate poverty, you are able to create shared prosperity, you are able to really transform the Africa we want, which is properly enshrined under the Agenda 2063. So basically that is the brief on me, and this has been my journey, and I haven't deviated from my professional career. Even up to now, I always pursue business oriented activities.
All right, thank you so much for that explanation. Maybe I would like, not only me, even our viewers, those viewers who are watching us right now, they will like to know what is the reality in economics?
Yes. No, when we talk about economics, we are talking about a broader area. Economics covers a lot of aspects. You are looking at the fundamentals of growth, how a country moves from a low level of growth to a high level of growth. And you brought that aspect, and a number of economists or policymakers have been struggling really to define why some countries are richer, others are very poor. And the reason that some countries are richer and others are poor is very clear, and is one is the productivity, the total factor productivity, how we translate the labor, the capital, the entrepreneurship to generate output. So the 60% why some countries are growing richer and others are growing poor is the level of productivity, how we are able to harness the skill set of our youth, how we are able to use our land and our natural resources, and how we are able to really promote entrepreneurship. People to start at an early age. And I'm happy I'm speaking here from Rwanda, and the government of Rwanda really has deliberately championed the initiative from early childhood, that young people from every aspect, even when you are pursuing law, you are pursuing medicine, there must be an element of entrepreneurship. So it cuts across. Whatever you do, we should not always rely on the government, but we should support our government in terms of job creation.
Yes.
So economics is about job creation. It's about poverty reduction. It is about output, enhancing the economic output. And those outputs are produced by you, by me. Whatever you do every day has contribution to our economy.
Yeah.
Sure.
So even Isango TV, what you are doing now, the services you are rendering, you are now contributing to the output of the Rwandan economy. So that's why I'm saying the economy constitutes a number of elements. It constitutes production, consumption, government expenditure, exports, imports, all in aggregate. That's what we call an economy. So everyone, every individual, a society, a farm, government, they contribute to that big basket we call an economy. So that's why we always say aggregate. And now, as I said, the development depends on the economy. The transformation of any society is through economy, is through production of goods, services, how we harness that, those factors of production.
All right, thank you so much. Pia Sangwa, let's talk about school and university life.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, Monsieur Carissa, I was also wondering, like, how did your studies in the University of Pretoria influence your views on the Africa's policies, economic policies in general?
Let me say that studying at the university, I did a partial master's program at the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. And I did also what they call MPhil in the University of Pretoria, looking at taxation. And the reason why I really emphasize on taxation or fiscal policy and element of monetary policy, because these are the tools government use in terms of promoting or stimulating economic growth. So you find that everyone contributes to, and this is really a cardinal role for every individual, that we must pay our taxes. Once you pay taxes, the government will provide what we call public goods.
Public goods?
Public goods. Public goods. These are goods with two important, distinct objective and all distinct features. One, non-excludability, and non-liable in consumption, meaning that, like the roads, everyone uses the road.
Yeah, sure.
So if you allow the private sector to provide those goods, it would be expensive for everyone to buy or consume. Then another example of public good is like defense, security. We all enjoy the security, but you don't know who pays for the security. So it is true that those taxes, that's why people need to understand that taxes, people do hate taxes, but it's our natural obligation to pay taxes. And we must sensitize people to pay taxes, because it is through taxes that the government is able to collect revenue and provide those public goods, which cannot be provided by private sector. So that's why I was very much interested in why government is doing this, why people hate taxes, and what can we do. And I think when you look at the Rwanda Revenue Authority, the Ministry of Finance here, they are doing a very noble role, a cardinal role in terms of sensitization about the benefits of paying taxes for our national development. So I think those were the interests I picked when I was doing my programs. And I realized that a private sector has a big role to play in terms of contributing to the tax revenue the government requires to provide those public goods. As I mentioned, infrastructure, education, health services, defense, security, and everything we do is provided by the government. And if you allow the private sector to provide those goods, it would be expensive, and very few people would afford. Then you would be creating a huge income inequality. Those who do the economics understand the income inequality. So though the richer becomes richer and the poor becomes richer. So it's the role of government to strike a balance between the rich and the poor, so that we are all on the same level.
Never.
Sometimes it's very hard, but I know, especially our government has really done a quite commendable work in terms of ensuring those benefits are spread to everyone. It cannot be equal. And again, from an economic point of view, sometimes we abuse the word equality. And there is this saying, one of the Italian economists, Pareto, said that he was arguing that those who contribute more should get more. So that's why it's very hard in most cases. The way we work, some people work 24 hours, others are working 8. So the hard work also pays. That's why the income differences cannot be 100%. But what is required and what is always required from government is to ensure that everyone has equal security, everyone has equal access to roads, everyone has equal access to education and hospitals. I think that our government has tried to strike a balance around that.
So, according to your CV, you go beyond Rwanda. You know, you didn't really tell me how you view these policies in Africa, because your knowledge goes beyond our country.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very interesting question. The reason why my interest and preoccupation goes beyond Rwanda is that Rwanda is not an island. And when you look at the pillar of the previous vision 2020 and the current vision 2050, there is a strong pillar on regional integration and international cooperation, meaning that Rwanda is a member and a signatory to a number of regional economic communities. We are a member of East African Community, we are a member of African Union, we are a member of, we used to be a member of ECAS, we are a member of COMESA. These are regional organizations. And the reason why Rwanda is a member of those countries is also what we call market integration. The country, the government, the president has really made a positive effort to ensure that what is produced in Rwanda, both goods and services, can go beyond our borders. We can export services. Like if I was working in South Sudan, working in Tanzania, that is the services rendered by Rwanda. And when you generate an income, you use the income to build your country, you bring it back. If you are all students, you know what we call remittances, the inflows of your nationals in different countries. And I was looking at the statistics. I think last year we generated more than 23 million US dollars from Rwandans working abroad and bringing money in the country.
Oh,
by starting
that
business.
is good.
Yes, they start business. They are in various. they are doing business, but they are also injecting into. They are in real estates. They are building homes. They are supporting education services. They are in a green economy. So they are bringing a lot of support, both technical and financial. So that's why it's really important that we harness and leverage the benefit of regional and international cooperation, because that is very critical, especially in terms of our economic growth agenda and the country's ability to harness those engagements.
All right. Thank you so much. We have our audience. How are you guys? Are you okay? Yeah. Can you please pass the mic to Mr. Patrick? Mr. Patrick?
Introduce yourself, say where you're from, then ask your question.
Yeah, like that.
My name is Irahunda Patrick. I am a Rwandan. Yeah, I'm Rwandan. So my question is, can African countries achieve true economic independence without full control over their monetary policy?
A very interesting point. And I think when you look at the and I want to really orient you. You look at the theory of regional integration from 1961 by Bera Barasa. He outlined 5 stages of integration. The first stage is the free trade area. The second stage is customs union. The third stage is common market. The fourth stage is the monetary union. And the last stage is the total integration, or like for EAC is the political integration, having the same political ecosystems. So the monetary union under Bera Barasa is the 4th stage of integration. You can't achieve a monetary union without achieving the other 3 stages of integration. And those are very critical, especially the common market, because the common market allows free movement of factors of production, capital, labor, people, services, right of establishment. So the flow of factors of production are very critical for monetary union to happen. So when you look at the EAC level, we have almost completed the 3 stages of integration: the free trade area, customs union, common market. We were supposed, last year we were supposed to have attained a monetary union or a common currency. The protocol was signed, the protocol establishing a monetary union was signed in November 2013. And the member states of East Africa had given themselves 10 years to have a common currency, a common EAC currency, meaning that, and the reason is very simple. Why do we need a common currency? Is to lower the transaction cost of exchanging. If you are now moving from Rwanda to Uganda, the conversion, you lose 10% of the value of Rwandan francs. So it means that really when you are in integration, monetary union is very prerequisite, is very critical in integration process. It means you are lowering the transaction cost, you are allowing the factors of production to move, both labor, capital, and others, with minimal interferences. You are ensuring that we are in the same area. And a number of economists like Robert Mondere is a Canadian economist. You will read him. He's introduced what we call optimal currency area, OCA, meaning that countries must, it's very critical. And when you look at the optimal currency and why maybe East Africa has not attained a monetary union, is that we are at a different level of development. And there are certain what we call macroeconomic convergence criteria, meaning that your GDP growth rate, like now in the whole of East Africa, Rwanda is ahead of other countries.
Really?
Yes, it's growing around 7 to 8%.
Sure.
Yes, it's the fastest growing. Generally, in the whole of Africa, Rwanda is ahead. So, but other countries like perhaps Burundi is at 4%, Kenya is at 5%, Uganda is at 6%. So for you, then the others looking at your fiscal deficits, the inflation. Your inflation should not be above 3%. So you find that if there is a variation in terms of those macroeconomic criteria, there is the variation, then it becomes hard in terms of having a common currency. So that is what they call asymmetric shocks, meaning that if one country is at a recession, another one is at the boom, how do you balance that? Do you have a compensation mechanism to ensure that you are able to elevate that country that has suffered from shocks? So that's why the EAC pushed the monetary union for further 5 years. I think it is 2031 to achieve that. The negotiation and reviewing those critical criteria are being worked on. But it's very hard. In my view, even by 2031, it will not be possible because countries they are at a various level of development. They are not at the same level of development. I gave an example, Rwanda. When you look at even inflation, Rwanda inflation is lower compared to other countries. When you look at the public debt, Rwanda is lower compared to other countries. So you need, for you to achieve a monetary union, you need to ensure those macroeconomic fundamentals are in place. They are aligned, they are harmonized. It is, you can see even the EAC, we read the budget at the same time. I think there are 4 countries that are reading budget: Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania. But other 4 are not yet at that level. So you need to wait and ensure that those are also supported and elevated to be at the same level for you to achieve that common currency. So I think that is it, but it is very important and critical. I know countries like in West Africa, economic, they have West Africa economic currency. They are using one currency, and it has really lowered the transaction costs. It has ensured that the goods are moving quickly. You are using the same currency. You are not. You have stability in terms of exchange rate. So those are some of the considerations.
But not all of them.
Not all of them. Generally, they used to peg their currency to CFA franc. Now they are going to euro. Not all the countries are at the same level. Even within the recent experience of EU, achieving a common currency takes time. It takes a lot of time, and there is a lot of consideration with regard to macroeconomic fundamentals.
If you don't know economics, you can't understand. That is true. All right, Mr. Zeza from Liberia. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm
Can
good.
you please introduce yourself?
Okay.
And your country, please. Come on.
I'm George Fisiza Jr. from Liberia, West Africa. So my question is, what concrete benefit will monetary sovereignty bring to young African entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think the concrete benefit is that there is autonomy, self-dependence. When you have a monetary sovereignty, when you are immune to what we call shocks, external shocks. Currently, we are grappling with what we call a Trump trade policy, America first.
Trump.
The Trump policy is called America first. And when you look at his trade with the U.S. trade policy, they have raised the tariffs.
Yeah.
And they have suspended the aid, like USAID. They are no longer providing support. So it is until the countries, the African countries, have that economic independence, they are able to withstand the shocks. So when you are not depending on external aid, it means that you can continue to sustain your economy, you can continue building infrastructure, you can continue building the schools, you can continue to provide the services. So you are not really affected by the external shocks. I give an example in China. China accounts for 30% of the global manufacturing output. So US thought that by imposing high tariff on Chinese goods exported to US, it will affect China. The market. But China had already prepared 100 years ahead of US. Was more clever. And as an economist, you need to build what we call shock absorbers, very strong. You need to.
So those words, some people can't understand.
You need to build resilience, what we call resilient instruments within your economy, so that whatever happens, whether it is in the US or whether it is in Europe, it does not affect your program.
Indeed.
Sure.
It does not affect your economy. So those are the mitigation measures you need to put in place. That's why I think independence in terms of financing, monetary sovereignty, you are not depending on the interest of the donors, of your funders, because your funders dictates you what to do. So the homegrown solution, I think, is very critical for Africa. Even now, the only instrument we have as a continent is to really leverage and implement continental free trade area. That agreement was signed here in Kigali in 2018, bringing almost 54 countries together so that we can work together as Africa in what we call a common market. Allow our goods and services, support each other in terms of cross-border infrastructure, allow students to study everywhere. Like now, I think all East African students are treated the same. When you come from South Sudan, I worked in South Sudan, you are treated, you come to study in Rwanda, you are treated as a Rwandan. Indeed. When a Rwandan goes to Kenya, he's treated as a Kenyan. So that is the kind of common policies, common education area. There is a free movement of goods, services, capital within Africa. So, and that's how we are able to really withstand these external shocks. That's how you become immunized from the global shocks or global effects. What is happening in the Western countries? If you have strong fundamentals, then you are immune from those external shocks. I hope I've responded to your question.
Yeah.
Satisfied?
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much. Pia Sangwa?
I wasn't so satisfied with the answer you gave to his question, because I think he asked, how would it impact the young entrepreneurs?
Because when we talk about again, this is there is what we call macroeconomic fundamentals, monetary union. These are macro in nature; they are big, but then they cascade down to individuals. For instance, I was giving an example. If you are a South Sudanese or Liberia, because Liberia is part of the CFTA, is part of the African Union, or Africa we want, you are allowed to come and study. You are allowed to come and to study in Rwanda and be treated as a Rwandan. So you're able to harness knowledge. You're able to get knowledge to do your business. You can establish business even here in Rwanda. You get my point. You can establish, because of those agreements signed. That's why I said that it allows the factors of production to move: goods, services, ideas, and capital. You can establish. I know many business young people. Even now, as I said, I'm working with Accelerate Africa. Last week we had 20 young people from different countries who are going to establish business here. Some are in the fashion, creative sector. They are in agri-tech, agriculture technology. I know a young Ethiopian guy who has established what they call a grain bank. Grain bank here in Rwanda. He stores grain. Then he uses the grain to make money, because he stores the grain during the harvest period and during the dry season. He sells that.
Because it is in shortage.
Yes, it is in shortage. He sells that, but you can use that storage as a bank. You bring your grain, he gives you capital.
Indeed.
So those are some of the innovations that are coming for young people because of that macroeconomic environment created by the government of Rwanda. So whether you are from Liberia, whether you are from Ethiopia, whether you are from Nigeria, here you are allowed to come and establish a business. And they're encouraging young people. I think the Minister of Youth recently established a facility supporting young people to start up their business. Be job creators, not job seekers. I think that's the whole idea. And when you look at the Vision 2050, when you look at the National Strategy for Transformation for Rwanda, the emphasis is on youth and women.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, the first thing is the environment. Another one is access to finance. They are giving us. Then another one, which is very critical, by the way, for the youth and across the continent, not only in Rwanda, is skills development. If people are giving you skills, like if you come and start in Rwanda, it's capital. They have given you capital. Because entrepreneurship is created through skills development and skills enhancement. You can use the skills you acquire from university to do any business you want. Those who are in TVET in Rwanda, they know before even they complete the enterprises around there, they are picking them, they are giving them jobs because they have the necessary skills that are required by the labor market.
All right, so thank you so much. Mr. Chol, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt a little bit? Before we continue to challenges and solution, I think I have a problem on sovereignty still, on the monetary sovereignty.
Yes.
So the question will go as, when we speak about monetary sovereignty in Africa, are we discussing a political ideal or a genuine economic necessity?
It's a genuine economic necessity. The reason why I'm saying it is a genuine economic necessity that for the past 5 decades, most of African countries have got independence, but we are still depending on aid. We are still depending on external support.
Yeah.
So, and I mentioned about it as a necessity because we need to, for you to fund your program, your development program, you must be able to mobilize your own domestic resources. If you, 2 weeks I was in Nairobi, we are working on how can African Union support itself without relying on donors. When you look at the current issues that are being debated, discussed, is about what we call debt distress. Countries are stressed by the debts and external debts. That's why I said when Trump pulled out USAID and other funding agencies, every country was affected.
Sure.
So what we are looking at is that countries must have what we call financial autonomy or economic autonomy, meaning that they can use their own domestic resources to fund their domestic priorities or needs. So it is a necessity. It's not a political ideal or slogan. It is a necessity at the moment, given the current global environment, changing global environment.
Thank you very much.
Okay, go
You
ahead,
can ask the
John.
question.
Thank you. I'm Kwai Chol, a South Sudanese by nationality. My question goes like this. Are African economy structure ready to sustain full monetary autonomy? Are African economics ready to sustain full monetary autonomy?
Indeed, we are very ready. That's why I'm saying that the readiness depends on how we are organized. And I give an example in East Africa. We are very, when you look at and I advise you, young people, to always read. We have what we call African Integration Index. It looks at 4 critical aspects or dimensions. One of the dimensions is human resource development. The skills, I mentioned about the issue of skills. Do our people have the right skills? The second is sustainable production dimension. The third one is infrastructure dimension. And the fourth one is the market integration. When you look at the market integration, and this is where I need to maybe put more emphasis, when you look at our intra-regional trade, Africa intra-regional trade, how we are trading amongst each other, we are at around 18%. But our counterparts in Asia, 70% are trading with amongst themselves. So we need to change that paradox or paradigm. We encourage, that's why I said the CFTA, Continental Free Trade Area, is not just a free trade area. It is a game changer in the sense that we want to harness our opportunities. We have all the resources, but we've been exporting all these resources to the Western world. So how do we use those resources? The one way to do that is to eliminate barriers within Africa, to dismantle what we call non-tariff barriers, to promote what we call borderless Africa. I was yesterday. There was a meeting, Saturnine meeting in Addis Ababa of all the heads of state, and they said and I even petitioned that we must make Africa borderless, remove these borders. They were created by our colonizers, but why can't our head of state sit together and remove the borders? Allow free flow of goods, services, people move across the borders. We remove those borders. We harness those opportunities. That's how we can achieve that monetary sovereignty. We shouldn't be, we have all it requires. They used to say that African, we have low skills. But I can tell you, and I was also looking at the statistics, all the world is aging. All the world people are aging. They are generally every year around 50 million people are retiring. The only continent with very dynamic, young, brilliant, innovative is Africa. So how do we harness what we call demographic dividend? How do we harness the power of our youth? By creating opportunities. I gave an example that Minister of Youth in Rwanda created a dedicated facility for youth to start their business. At a very low interest rate, you start your own business. That's how you can, because through business, and I said from beginning that monetary independence depends on your productivity. How much goods are you producing? How much goods are consumed within Rwanda? Buy Rwanda, build Rwanda. In East Africa, they say buy East Africa, build East Africa. Why do we always have to import things from Italy, from China? Everything comes from China. Why don't we promote that slogan among the youth? Made in Rwanda.
Made in Africa.
Made in Africa. That's how we can really change the old narrative with the new narrative. Everyone should be a message to everyone. We promote our own products.
Maybe we don't have many skills to make it.
No, the skills are there. The skills are there. That's what that's my point. I said we have skills, but we have not harnessed the skills of our youth. How many people know the products are there? You go to Kigali Heights. There are like 4 shops selling made in Rwanda. I always buy good shirts there. Buy good, made, yes.
Just it's the minimum. Coming in town.
Coming in town. Everything they're made in Rwanda. But it is just a mindset shift. How do we change? We don't say we don't have skills to make. What skills are required to make a shirt?
It's not about to make shirts only.
Even
it's not about
even shoes. The quality. There has been an issue that our quality is not good, but that has changed. Generally, the best quality is produced within Africa.
Sure.
Look at the creative industry in Nigeria, everywhere. Look at the fashion industry that is happening in Ghana, here in Rwanda. So things are happening.
Okay. All right. Mary, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Abijuru Mutoni Marie Natasha, and I'm a Rwandan. So my question is that what role private sectors and youth can play in monetary sovereignty?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. When you talk about the private sector, we always say it is an engine of development. And now if the youth driving it, look at you made driving the EV made in Rwanda. Look at the Kabisa, when you're driving that Kabisa car. The way you are dressed, the way you are, so that's why I'm saying youth and private sector. When you look at the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, it talks about youth and the private sector driving that agenda. It means that the job creation, the productivity, the innovation, the entrepreneurship has to come from the youth and the private sector. The government should be at the back seat, but the youth and the private sector should be
in front.
It should be in the front. So the economic transformation of Africa relies heavily on the youth and the private sector. if we want to transform the Africa, as I said, 70% of our population are young people, aged around from 16 to 35. Other countries, from the other people in the world are aging. They're around 60, 65, 70. So now that's why we're saying one of the key assets we have for Africa is the youth. Very energetic, dynamic, very enthusiastic, very innovative, want to work hard. And I see that energy and the vigor in even the room here, dedicating your time and say, no, I want to make an impact. If everyone is committed to make an impact, it will happen. My young brother from South Sudan knows how the South Sudanese are very resilient people. They work very, very, very hard. I was there, I used to be in Juba, Nimuri. I worked with the private sector there. They are working very hard, despite the hardship, but they are working, they want to work hard. If they are in education, they are concentrating. Whatever they do, they are doing it very well. So this is the whole. So why we've been talking about macroeconomics, it's creating environment. That's the role of government. The government does not create jobs. Government creates an enabling environment for the private sector to create jobs. And the issue now we have in Africa is that everyone who completes university or wants to go to work with the government, you will not get the real skills that are required. Go to the private sector, gain the real experience that will help you to create your own business. Look at the Dangotes, look at these guys who are coming up from Africa, say, no, we want to make an impact. And all of them, they want to support the youth. They want to really transform Africa, say, no, why do we always import oil? Nigeria produces enormous quantity and quality of oil, but has been exported. It has been exporting it in raw form. Dangote is transforming it, is adding value. This region has potential minerals, but we've been exporting in raw form, and we generate very little money. But countries have made a commitment in what we call mineral beneficiation, adding value to our minerals. Before you export, you must add value. That's when you will get a very big margin, profit margin from your exports. Everything must be transformed here in Africa. Before, I was looking at Ghana, the president of Ghana, he said, no, I will not export again the raw cocoa to another country. The chocolate must be made here. Then we sell the proceeds to the rest of the world. So that's the kind of the paradigm shift that we are seeing across the continent.
All right, thank you so much. Very interesting. Mr. Steven, welcome.
Thank you. I feel I'm in another world.
Yeah, for really, I'm telling you.
The whole of many countries, as the Sangosta program passes through different TV channels in more than 15 countries, I think the whole of Africa, if they follow this program, especially the youth, we are going to get more productivity from these youth, from what, as Mr. Karisa told us, 60% of our population in Africa are the youth.
Yeah.
And I was taken by some of the advices he gave when we heard of the problem caused by this Trump policy, America first, and when USAID left, many of us, our projects, many of different countries, some were totally paralyzed.
Yeah.
Now I feel now the ball should be taken to our African government. Mr. Karisa, you talked also again of driving towards the greater economic autonomy, and you also talked about it when you are introducing the first economist who gave the five, I don't know whether they are...
5 stages of integration.
Stages of integration. So that one came as the number 5.
Yes.
And I feel, now, what advice could we give to our governments? Because the pillar, I mean, the ball goes to productivity, but then the role, I mean, the ball lies in the hands of our governments. I wish every government was following this program to hear the way they can just change the mentality. What advice can you give to our governments to drive us to that area? Good question.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I think that's very pertinent and a very good question in terms of the policymakers. Generally, I always say that integration has been hijacked by politicians. When you look at the cornerstone of all economic integration, of the integration agenda, it should be driven by the private sector. The private sector, and my young sister mentioned about the private sector and the youth should be at the forefront. Even at the continental level, what we call Africa Continental Free Trade Area, there is a dedicated protocol for youth and women. And when you read the preamble of that protocol, they say the future of Africa lies in the hands of youth and women. Until we recognize the power of our youth and the private sector to drive integration agenda, we will not achieve the Africa we want. We will not be able to achieve the Africa we want. So it is high time that we engage. It's high time the youth raises their voice, the private sector raises their voice. In terms of their legal rights, in terms of the driving the integration agenda. Let me give an example before maybe I conclude on that question. We've been pushing for visa openness, liberalizing movement of people and persons across the continent. When you look at the country, so I think Rwanda is number one that has opened its doors to those who want to come to Rwanda and do business in Rwanda. It is only I think less than 10 countries have granted a visa to the fellow African. And we always say that goods don't move alone. Goods move with people. So I think that's where we need to really to say, how do we really ensure that we open our borders? We create a borderless Africa. We remove those borders. We allow Africa to exchange ideas, views, innovation, like the way we are doing here. And I'm happy, and I say that given that I'm a Rwandan, I've seen it, and I'm working across the continent, I've seen how a number of youth are coming to Rwanda. They are establishing business in Rwanda. They are benefiting from education. They are not discriminated. You know, I didn't know that he's from South Sudan or he's from Liberia. Because you have mingled, you are working together. Not mingled in terms of the color, but in terms of ideas. So that's how we need to enhance and build our ecosystem. By removing those barriers, ensure that integration works.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that clarification about Mr. Stephen question. Ms. Pia, there's another question you want to ask, or you are
How about we
very
just
satisfied?
give the audience,
Why not?
the time to ask their questions first?
Please, madam, can you take the mic?
Thank you. My name is Tumukunde Fanny. I'm Rwandan. So I have a question. First of all, as we know, all youth graduates face a lot of challenge to make their dreams come true, like lack of employment. We all know that. So you, as successful economists who occupy strong positions, I would like to ask you, what opportunities can you give us to make our projects turn into fruitful investment?
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Very good question. Very good question. And before I came here, let me give a good story. There is what we call NEET. Who understand the word NEET? NEET means not in education, not in employment, not in training. And I was looking at the number. You are not in education, you are not in training, you are not you are not in employment, you are not even in training. So it means that you are redundant. You are not using the skills you acquired from university to work somewhere. And that has been a big issue in terms of what we call the requirement of labor markets and our current education system being prepared for the jobs of tomorrow. When you look at the World Economic Forum, they are looking at the future jobs. But what is required now is, our economy is prepared for the youth? And I was also giving you statistics. Every year we have 15 million youth joining the labor market. 15 million. And our government can only offer 3 million. So it means that more than 12 million youth are unemployed. So responding to that, do you have the right skills? Not from the theoretical academic, but do you have okay, if you don't have the right skills, then how do you upskill yourself? Reskill yourself. Get the right skills that are required by the labor market. So then the next aspect, create your own jobs. Start a hairdressing salon. I took my son in Nairobi and he was saying, "No, Daddy, how do I do? I cannot do hairdressing. Men don't do that."
Oh, they do.
You see, I'm giving an example. So those are the skills that now, nursing skills, baby care. Generally, when you look at the Made in Africa, and this is the way I'm responding to your question, look at the Made in Africa revolution, they have identified 10 sectors where the youth can get jobs. One is in agribusiness, agro-processing. The second is pharmaceutical. The third one is in automotive industry. The creative sector, the film industry is growing in Africa, as I mentioned. Then look at the honey, look at the soybeans, look at those agriculture-related sector. Then technology and innovation. These are sectors that now are coming up strongly. ICT sector is driving transformation in Africa, using AI and other modern technologies that are happening. So there is an enormous potential within various sectors. But for instance, you open up a coffee shop anywhere, you get money. Don't look into the formal employment, but look at the way how you can create jobs for yourself. But look into those sectors where the opportunity. The fashion industry, textile and apparel sector. The fashion industry is a $2 trillion industry. US has opened the market for African fashion to enter their market. Look at the arts and crafts industry. So all these are potential opportunities, sectors where youth can be, get jobs and be employed, but also you can create jobs yourself. You can establish a business for yourself. And that's what I'm really advocating. Don't look into going into my company and establish your own company. And that's what Accelerate Africa we are doing. We are encouraging youth to start their own business. We support them in terms of skills, in terms of opportunities, and we bring investors to give you capital to start your own business.
All right, thank you so much. Please, madam, can you introduce yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Nishimwe Claudine. I'm Rwandan. So my question is, the monetary sovereignty in Africa, myth or strategies necessity?
Repeat your question, please.
Monetary sovereignty in Africa, myth or strategies necessity?
I think we discussed that the monetary sovereignty in Africa is not a myth. It is a strategic priority for African countries. And I discussed that given the current situation we are going through, the continent is grappling with debt, what we call debt distress. Countries are struggling in terms of paying debts. So what we are looking into as Africa is really to enhance and boost domestic resource mobilization using the what we call regional and continental value chain, by adding value to our minerals, by adding a value to agriculture, by establishing pharmaceutical industries in our continent, by promoting services where we have comparative and competitive advantage. So there is enormous, a wide range of opportunities that Africa can harness so that they are able to be self-reliant or self-funding. So a number of governments are looking into various, they are diversifying their source of revenue. They want to be independent. They don't want to generate a number of studies that have been published that no country can develop through aid. There is one Zambian economist called Dambiso Moyo. She published a book called Dead Aid, meaning that aid does not help you to develop, and rather it really promotes what we call perpetual dependency. You are depending on aid, you will not develop, you always, and the countries now are moving from aid into trade. So trade is becoming a powerful tool in terms of self-reliance, countries to rely on their own resources through trade, through investment flows, through innovations. You see that through innovations, through economies of scale. That's where now the regional integration has become critical, continental integration become critical, harnessing the flagship projects under Africa. We want the Agenda 2063, all 15 projects, doing cross-border infrastructure, removing barriers to movement of capital, movement of people. You came in when we were talking about visa openness. Countries need to open up visas for Africans to move and share ideas and innovation. So those are some of the building blocks or initiatives that are being promoted so that we can have self-reliant continent.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Bosco Talisa.
Thank you.
It was for really a pleasure to have you in this show. Thank you for the advice, thank you for that intelligent, very smart. We really appreciate.
Thank you very much. I much appreciated to the TV.
Thank you also, Miss Pia Sangwa.
Oh, pleasure is mine.
Can you please clap for him, please?
Yeah.
All right. I think we are done with our show of this evening, and allow me to wish you a blissful night, bonne nuit, et on se retrouve prochainement. Ciao. Thank you.